The 3 times my ex-wife tried to take my daughter away from me and move to another state. This is part 1 of 3. I will update with links to parts 2 and part 3 when I have time to write them. This happened about 25 years ago, so I am telling this story to the best of my recollection. After our divorce, I had one day less than a 50-50th parenting split. My ex-wife refused to give me 50-50 in mediation because she just had to win. After about a year of being divorced, I got a summons in the mail to appear in court. My wife was trying to permanently take my daughter away from me. She made up a bunch of stuff, but the basis of her argument was that I was participating in deviant sexual behavior. I had a difficult time finding a lawyer because of this. Without even talking to me, the first several lawyers I spoke with didn't want to touch the case as soon as they read that in the summons. Eventually I found a great attorney though. He was not cheap, however. In court, her lawyer put her on the stand and she told the judge a bunch of BS she thought was going on at my house in regards to the deviant sexual behavior between me and my girlfriend. She did, however, say that she had no idea if my daughter had been exposed to anything she was accusing me of. But it wasn't safe for my daughter to stay with me because of what she suspected was going on. On the stand, she also said that she had a job and a place to rent waiting for her in another state that she wanted to move to, about 300 plus miles away. In addition, she also said that she visited her boyfriend in this other state on the weekends. She said that she only took our daughter with her occasionally, since the parenting split gave me time every Saturday. And that made it difficult for her to leave after work on Friday to see her boyfriend, and then have to return the next day. Note, this meant when she had our daughter on Friday, she had to leave after work on Friday with our daughter to go see her boyfriend. And bring our daughter back to on Saturday, since I got our daughter every Saturday, either at 8 a.m. or at noon, alternating Saturdays. It is what she had agreed to in mediation, and how she got her extra day a month. It was kind of complicated how I had some days every other week, she had some days every other week. But I got our daughter every Saturday, either starting at 8 a.m. or at noon on the weekends. Or, she could leave our daughter with me, and give me extra time above the court-ordered amount if she wanted to leave after work on Friday to see her boyfriend, and not have to come back till she had to be to work Monday morning. This is what she did most weekends. The other option was to ask me for permission to take our daughter out of state and keep her on Saturdays, which I allowed occasionally, but not often. She was absolutely hated that she had to ask me for permission. Oh well. It was the deal she originally agreed to in mediation. Love me some karma. So anyway, when her lawyer got done asking her questions, my lawyer got up and asked her his first question. Is the parenting plan that you have been using to go to this other state, that you have worked out with your ex-husband, something that you have done because it is in the best interest of your daughter? Frigging genius question. That is what I paid the big bucks for. She kind of hemmed and hawed for a bit and then said yes. I mean, what else could she say? No. Then as my lawyer started to ask his second question, something very unexpected happened. The judge held up his hand and sternly said to my lawyer, "Go have a seat. I have some questions for her." My lawyer turned to walk back to our table, with a look of surprise on his face. When he sat down next to me, he whispered to me, "I have no idea what's happening. He's never done this before." The judge then asked my ex-wife, "If your daughter came up to you and asked you if it was okay to have premarital sex, what would you say to her?" My ex-wife started to visibly squirm in her seat and she started to say, well, when she turns 18. The judge cut her off and said no. Right now, at 8 years old, if your daughter asked you if it was okay to have sex with someone that you weren't married to, what would you tell her? As she squirmed even more, her reply was something like, I'd say no, Your Honor. The judge then lashed out at her and said something very close to, by taking your daughter to your boyfriend's for the weekend, that is exactly what you are telling her. And, as he pointed to me, I don't care if this man has his girlfriend chained up naked and swinging from the ceiling, as long as your daughter is not being exposed to it, then what you are doing is worse than anything he is doing, and it is none of your business. He banged his gavel and said, "This case is done." My lawyer then jumped up and said, "Your Honor, we would like to move that the parenting plan which they have worked out between them currently, that is different from the original court order, be made permanent." The judge then replied, "We are going to take a 15-minute recess for the two of you to work it out between you, and when I come back, if you don't have something worked out, I will work it out for you," and he walked out. So, we worked out that we would use the original parenting plan of 50-50 minus 1 day, but I would also now get all weekend every weekend, from when my ex-wife got off work on Friday until Sunday night. When adding up the hours, now it ended up that I got just under a week extra than what I had before. When the judge returned and we told him this plan, he accepted it, and then he also reduced my child support to account for me now having my daughter the extra days every month. So, I ended up getting more time with my daughter every month, and a reduction in my child support, all by court order. My ex-wife was also humiliated on the stand by the judge. It was a good day. My ex-wife was furious, because she thought the judge was going to allow her to move and take my daughter with her. Oops. Karma biatch. LOL. An important thing that I got out of all this was that her real reason for wanting to move was to live closer to her boyfriend. Her made-up crap about deviant sexual behavior was her way of trying to get the court to let her move without having to be honest about why she wanted to move. She figured that just her wanting to live near her boyfriend wasn't going to be a good enough reason for the court, so she had to make up something that was going to be a big deal to the judge. Yeah, well, the judge saw right through her BS. Part 2 and 3 are not nearly as good. However, what happened to me after the third court appearance was icing on the cake. Hang in there and follow along. It should be worth the wait.